And we are back. It is Tom Gibson to your left and Chuck Augustin to your right, at least on the TV screen. We are here in Nye County, and we are here to entertain and enthuse and also to educate if you're willing to learn. Anyway, Chuck and I are here. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, and I'll let Chuck pick it up.
Okay, let's start off with my car breaking down on Highway 160 just as I came over the hump from Vegas on Thursday. I'd been to a doctor's appointment, and lo and behold, my fuel pump died. So I'm sitting there on the side of the road. Miraculously, my cell phone worked, and I had it with me, which I almost never do. So I got through to the towing place, and an hour and a half later, they got me. While I was waiting, two people stopped and asked me if I was okay, if I needed a ride, if I needed to use the cell phone, and if I needed water. And I thought, wow, there is still hope,
yeah, there really is.
And then Nevada Highway Patrol, near the very end, he was going the other way up the hill, and he saw me. I had my hood up on the shoulder on the other side, and he came around, and again, real polite, real nice, you know.
Good thing you were over in Clark County at the time, right?
Yeah, I must have been, come to think of it. So anyway, that restored my faith in humans. And I was just at Walmart with my Oath Keepers hat on, and I've never had this happen before. Two people in the same shopping, excursion said, "I love your hat."
Ah.
And one of them said, he had a little girl there, and he said, "You know what that is for?" And she kind of just looked, and I said, "It's your future."
Wow.
And he shook my hand, and wow, it was great. So with all the bad news that's going on, there's something stirring that to me is positive. So anyway, I'll leave it with that on my adventures. On the sad side, many of you know that David Lancaster Sr. passed away on the 5th of August. And he had been battling liver cancer for quite a while. And he was a very spiritual guy. He was more than ready to accept what was going to happen to him. And I won't say he was looking forward to it, but everybody that has been around people at that stage of life knows it's more or less a blessing when they do go. So for David, this one's for you, buddy. And I know anyone that listens to 97.7 radio will miss his show. Speaking of 97.7, Anthony Greco called me a couple weeks ago. And I had written him a letter with my phone number on it. And Noah, if you can show the address. For anyone that knows Anthony and would like to write him a letter, there's the address. We'll try to show it at the end of the show also. So if you don't have paper, get some, and by the end you'll be ready. If you do want him to call you, he's of course on limited funding. A good friend of mine named the Flagman just recently updated his phone purse so he can make more phone calls. But he was doing real well, sounded real good. He was concerned, though, about him not receiving good time or good time credits off his sentence. And Tom, if you'd like to talk about that.
Right. I don't know the specifics with Anthony. I can tell you, though, that when a person is under a sentence, whether you're on probation or you're during a jail sentence or a prison sentence, you are entitled to a certain amount of credits for good time, as long as, in other words, if you don't get into any trouble in the jail or on probation, you're credited toward the end of your sentence. So it goes off the back end of the sentence, so you can get out sooner, obviously. And I don't know what the amount of time is in prison. It could be the same as the local jail. In the local jail, you get literally 2 months off per year. Okay, so if you get, if you have a 1-year sentence, the reality is you're going to be serving 10 months of that 12-month sentence.
Okay.
And the 2 months that you don't have to serve is your good time credits. If for whatever reason, the jail, the prison, or the judge decides that you're not entitled to that for disciplinary reasons, then they will take that time away from you, and it'll be the entire 12 months per year.
So the judge, in this case, Judge Lane, can influence good time. Even though he's in a...
The good time credits would have, I think, the good time credits he would have accumulated during when he was on probation. I think that's what he's taken away from him, because once you're in prison, the judge really doesn't have any control over it. Okay. You're done. He's done with you. Actually, not just done with you. I mean, he loses authority over you.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Right. So I'm thinking that this is probably, and again, I'm shooting from the hip, but I think this is probably from the time he was on probation and should have acquired good time credits.
Okay. Okay, again, please write Anthony. He sounded great. I think he's doing 16 to 48.
Okay.
And, you know, he's a first timer, so it would be 16 months. And if there's no good time, it would be the whole thing.
If he's 16 to 48 means 16 months is the low end. You're not going to get good time credits off of that generally. Usually goes off the 48, you know, the top end of the sentence. If you know, again, if I'm correct on that, it's been a while since I looked all that up. But so the short answer is 16 to 48. After serving 16 months, you are eligible at that point for parole, and you're already on the. I mean, within 6 months of that date, you'll go. The parole board will have addressed your issue, and they'll determine whether or not you're going to get paroled on the 16th month, or if it's going to go after that.
Okay.
And if they didn't get you on month 16, then every 6 months you're entitled to another hearing, and you get it. And so it's every 6 months you're up again for before the board.
Richard, we got you on the line, buddy.
Oh, hello?
Hello.
Yes, I'm sorry. I had my TV turned down when I called, and then I heard you just now talking about his sentence. I was just wondering, did you tell us why he was arrested, and I missed it?
You really missed it. No, we didn't even discuss that. He had an underlying sentence, and he was put on probation, and that was been the 16 to 48 months, and then he apparently Judge Lane wasn't happy with the progress of payment of restitution, and that's money that the court determined should be paid to the state of Nevada for investigation fees in this matter. I think that's what the whole beef was on that. And Mr. Greco hadn't paid that in a timely manner according to the court, so the judge revoked his probation and sent him to prison. So that's what the whole thing was over. It was under his trial that he had a couple of years ago.
And that was for conspiracy to commit arson,
correct,
I believe.
Correct.
I'm sorry, to commit what?
To commit arson.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, thank you for bringing me up to date on that. I did not know that. I know him, but I didn't know that he was in that kind of trouble. So thank you very much.
Well, yeah, I mean, and what you probably didn't know too is he actually was charged with arson, and the jury found him not guilty of that charge. But conspiracy, all you got to do is agree to violate the law, and that's the crime itself.
And there was a long period where he wasn't charged. His former girlfriend was turned, apparently, and she said that they had discussed it and all the rest. So there was very little evidence at the trial.
I see. Well, I know he was pretty outspoken, so that was something that he and I used to talk about. It was him being so outspoken, and me too. But anyway, thank you so much, and I'll get back to the program and listen to the rest of it on air.
Okay, thanks for calling. Okay, we're waiting Ray the flagman's call. We got about 3 minutes left. I'll hang on before we go into the next session, which we're going to discuss Pahrump pay. And we've been talking about Nye County pay for a couple weeks, or a couple months, and now we're going to get into the town of Pahrump, which used to be run by the town council, is
Town
it?
board.
Town board. And then the voters voted to disestablish it, and we got Ray.
A couple minutes during this first segment, but the reason I figured I'd call now and call again later probably. First of all, it's 19 to 48, Anthony's sentenced to, and it was like insurance fraud. I mean, it wasn't conspiracy on the arson that he was convicted of. I'm pretty sure that's what he was convicted of, insurance fraud, because they thought he was colluding with his girlfriend or whatever. And then another thing is good time comes off of the front end on a C, D, or E felony, not or A or B. It comes off of it. So he would get good time, Tom, off of the 19 months. If it was A or B, a good time would come off of the back end. So that's what I understand just as a court observer. And also later on, I want to find out if you're going to have Petrocelli on Friday. They said you're going to have one, so if you can say it on TV, if it's going or not. You don't have to give any names, but you might even want to say what a Petrocelli is.
Oh, Petrocelli. We're really short on time, but it's take too long to explain it. But yes, there should be a Petrocelli there. They're going to be totally embarrassed by even bringing it up.
I'll call in later. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, we're going to go to break now. We'll see you on the other side.